The planet loomed, a menacing shadow against the void. It pulsed with an unseen energy, a discordant hum in the force. The Resolute, a Venator-class star destroyer, hung back, a predator wary of its prey. Below, shrouded in swirling emerald mists, lay the uncharted world designated SX-247. It was a place of whispers and shadows where even the light seemed to fear to tread. The briefing had been short, tense. A Republic listening post on a nearby moon had gone silent, contact lost, no distress signal. The last garbled transmission spoke of strange creatures, of whispers in the dark. Now a squad of clone troopers prepared to descend into this enigma, their faces grim beneath their helmets. They were veterans, all of them. They had seen the worst the Clone Wars had to offer. But something about this mission, something about this planet, chilled them to the bone. The airlock hissed, spewing them out into the suffocating embrace of SX-247. The stench hit them first, a rancid, cloying odour that spoke of decay and rot. The jungle pressed close, a living wall of dripping vegetation. The troopers fanned out, their boots sinking into the spongy ground. Above, the canopy choked out the sky, turning the daylight into an eerie emerald twilight. Even through their helmets, they could taste the air, heavy and metallic. It was wrong. All wrong. The squad moved like ghosts through the oppressive jungle. Each step was an effort, the air thick and humid. Strange bioluminescent fungi cast an unsettling glow, their light painting grotesque shadows on the surrounding foliage. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the hiss of their respirators and the steady drip of condensation from the leaves. It was a silence that felt both ancient and profoundly wrong, as if the jungle itself were holding its breath. The troopers' boots crunched on something hard and brittle. They stopped, their eyes adjusting to the gloom. Bones, hundreds of them, scattered across the jungle floor like macabre confetti. They were not human bones. These belonged to creatures unlike any they had ever seen before. Twisted and gnarled, with too many limbs and eyes that stared blindly from hollow sockets. The sight sent a shiver down their spines. Whatever had killed these creatures was not something they wanted to encounter. The squad moved on, their unease growing with every step. They had been walking for hours, but the jungle seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions. The air grew thicker, the smell of decay more intense. They began to see movement in the shadows, fleeting glimpses of things that were gone before their eyes could focus. Things with too many legs and eyes that glowed with an unnatural light. The troopers kept their weapons raised, their fingers hovering near the triggers. The jungle was alive with sounds now. A cacophony of clicks, chirps and growls echoed through the dense undergrowth. The troopers' helmets amplified the sounds, turning them into a deafening roar. They could feel the vibrations in their teeth. The creatures were getting closer. They were being hunted. The troopers pressed on, their nerves stretched taut. They had to reach the listening post. They had to find out what happened to their comrades. A strangled cry pierced the oppressive gloom. The troopers whirled around, their blasters snapping up. One of their own, a young trooper named Jack, lay on the ground, his body convulsing. Something dark and viscous oozed from his mouth, and his eyes bulged in their sockets. He was still alive, but only barely. His hand clawed at his helmet, a look of sheer terror etched on his face. He was trying to speak, but only a gurgling rasp escaped his lips. The squad leader, a grizzled veteran named Rex, knelt beside the dying trooper. "Jack, what is it? What happened?" he demanded, his voice tight with urgency. Jack's hand fell away from his helmet, revealing a patch of rapidly necrotizing flesh. Whatever had attacked him was unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was as if something was consuming him from the inside out. Jack's body went limp, his eyes staring vacantly up at the alien sky. He was gone. They pressed on, driven by a mixture of fear and grim determination. They were close now. They could feel it. The air was thick with the metallic tang of blood and the cloying stench of decay. The jungle floor was littered with the carcasses of strange, alien creatures, their bodies twisted and contorted in death. Something had been here before them, something that had slaughtered its way through the jungle with ruthless efficiency. They emerged into a clearing, their hearts sinking at the sight that greeted them. The listening post lay in ruins, a twisted tangle of metal and wires. Equipment was scattered everywhere, smashed and broken. The air was heavy with the silence of death. They fanned out, their weapons at the ready, their eyes scanning the wreckage for any sign of survivors. But there was nothing, only the empty shells of their comrades' armor and the chilling realization that they were not alone. Rex knelt beside a pile of discarded armor, his gloved fingers tracing the dented surface of a helmet. It was Corix, the squad's demolitions expert. He could still picture the young clone's easy grin and hear his infectious laughter. Now, all that was left was a cold, empty shell. Rex felt a surge of anger, raw and primal. He slammed his fist against the ground, the sound echoing through the shattered remains of the listening post. They were supposed to be rescuing survivors, not recovering bodies. The jungle exploded. A monstrous shape erupted from the undergrowth, a nightmarish fusion of teeth, claws, and chitinous armor. Its eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence fixed on the troopers, and a guttural roar ripped from its throat. It was the thing from the shadows, the thing that had slaughtered their comrades, and it was hungry. Rex was on his feet in an instant, his blaster spitting fire. The creature roared in pain as the energy bolt slammed into its hide. But the wounds seemed to close almost as quickly as they appeared. The troopers fanned out, firing as they moved, but the creature was too fast, too strong. It crashed through the undergrowth, scattering troopers like leaves before the wind. Its claws ripped through armor as if it were paper, and its teeth tore through flesh and bone with sickening ease. The troopers fought back with the desperation of men facing their own mortality, but it was a losing battle. One by one they fell, their screams swallowed by the cacophony of the jungle.